You're never prepared for that first management job. You get tapped and said, okay, you're going to be a manager. This senior manager pulled me aside and said, look, you were a successful salesperson. You just need to teach them to do everything that you did. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. My team hated me.
How did you get here?
It finally dawned on me, my eureka moment, meaning that
Darren Coleman, CIO over at Envision Pharma Group. His work, that and his team, are literally shaping how modern medicine gets built and delivered.
our healthcare system generates more data than any other sector. Today, we only access 22% of all available healthcare data. We've only scratched the surface of what personalized medicine is going to become. We're moving faster than we've ever moved. It is going to change the economic equation of how many companies make money. But I also think it'll invent different ways that we make money. That's the same problem that we're going through with AI right now. Everyone feels that AI is going to take away jobs. But what I discovered is that
Welcome back to CEO Tech Live, brought to you by Hexaware. I'm your host, Ben Fanning. I've got a treat coming your way today with Darren Coleman, who's a CIO over at Envision Pharma Group. Darren, thank you for joining us today, my friend.
thank you for having me.
So, how did you get here?
Well, Ben, grew up in a family of marketers. So when we went to college, we got a marketing degree.
Visual marketing.
Yes. And I was on my way to be, chief commercial officer. And then one of my, anytime you go through marketing, you have to do sales. So I did my sales cycle. Great. Started in pharmaceutical sales. Then started managing sellers. And one trip in the home office, I was pulled aside by the senior vice president of sales and marketing. He says, I need you to join the technology team. I looked at him and said, I sell things. What am I going to do in technology? And he told me, he said that you will say no to me when they will only say yes to me. I said, okay. I said, well, how are we going to get this seller to understand technology? And he says, I'm going to pair you with some of the best people, and they're going to teach you. That was 28 years ago.
Wow.
And two of the gentlemen that he paired me with are my longest lasting professional relationship, and we still talk now. And when I run into interesting technical situations, I still call them and we talk about it. But it goes to show, where technology has evolved from where it was to where it is today. You have to be able to walk on both sides of that camp.
Yes.
You have to understand the business. You have to understand what is that customer value creation that you're delivering, because that is something that tends to be, or used to be, more foreign to technology organizations. They build things.
Yeah.
They deliver things. They enable things. But what I discovered is that conversation that I had 28 years ago was a lightning rod to everything that I have achieved now. And yes, I've no formal training in technology, learned it all on the way.
Wow.
With the best experts that they could pair me with. But it's been an incredible journey. I've been blessed from it. Never did make it to chief commercial officer, but that's okay. I haven't looked back.
It ain't over yet.
No.
Who knows?
I haven't.
Well, after this interview.
I haven't looked back, and it's been amazing because where we are today, it's all about the tech, data, AI enablement that is transforming businesses today. So the reality is I'm probably right where I should be, but didn't realize it 28 years ago.
Do you have a favorite technology or project or something that you're involved in where you had to dust off the marketing and sales skills? And if you, maybe I'm thinking of a moment maybe where if you didn't have access to that background, it might not have worked.
I think I can. And I was brought into an organization to do an analytical transformation. Ironically, I actually had to give it brand identity, come up with a marketing strategy of
A brand identity.
how
for
we're going to
this.
market it inside the organization.
Nice. Okay.
And so almost like a PR campaign inside our own company, enlisted my communications leads in the company.
Okay.
And we literally launched a PR campaign inside our organization of what this technical project was and how it was going to be an accelerator for our business. And yeah, so I did draw back on that MBA class, did pay off, and I got to use it. But yeah, I actually ran the whole marketing campaign inside of how we were going to do it. But then all that was setting the table for what we did, which was, and it was 178 technologists, 2.5 years of work, and we transformed in what we were doing. But yeah, I did go back and use it.
They bought in.
They bought in.
Powerful example of you've got to sell these things to the people inside the organization, because eventually as a leader, would you agree that eventually just saying, because I said so, stops working?
Yeah, it does. It's interesting. In my younger days, I was a bull in a china shop. If you said that you want me to take that mountain and build that thing, guess what? You were going to get it. Might be some casualties along the way because, there was no speed except for full speed. But in order to truly evolve and transform an organization, you got to bring everybody along. And that's in any type of situation, especially in today's era where technology might not be understood. It's called the black box. And actually, it's not a black box. It's actually very easy to understand. And it's very logical of how technology works. But we have to explain it so that people can understand, and then you can bring them along. And I call it breadcrumbing. And the fact that we absolutely, we breadcrumb our ideas and, lay those breadcrumbs down so that all of a sudden everybody goes, what a great idea. You dropped enough breadcrumbs to get them there.
They're there. They follow.
That's right.
What was your first job? And how does it still
Oh my gosh.
influence your leadership today?
My first job was selling commercial business forms coming out of college in a recession.
Oof, this sounds like an exciting job.
Well, we actually had
exhilarating.
They had the best product, amazing product. You think about back then was, selling commercial business forms. We didn't have all these, computers. Imagine a desk without a computer, because that's what I'm talking about. And we manufactured the best product. Guess what? In a recession, no one cares about the best product. And it taught me to say, okay, it's all, the whole economic supply and demand, and do I want to be in this market or not? And said, no, I wanted to be in healthcare. And I managed to get myself into healthcare. It's almost recession proof, but the reality is that it's been an interesting journey because every day, even today, I still believe what I do matters to a patient.
Yeah.
And I haven't lost sight of that, of why, even though the hard lesson of selling commercial business forms in a recession, I starved, and no commissions doing that. But it taught me the power of what you do generates a value. And does that value translate to a change? And think about healthcare. Everyone wants to feel good and deserves to feel good and has the right to feel good. And I still feel like I do that every day.
What do you do to translate that idea to your team? Because it seems a little, on tech, we can go down the road of data, information, and perhaps it can get easy to forget the human behind it. And it sounds like you've got a real personal attachment to that. But how do you share that and scale that across to your team?
I think it's a really good question, because I've actually done this many times. and sat with teams, project teams that were working on something. And I've actually explained to them that this widget that we're making is going to allow this to happen, which then is going to be used to accomplish this, which eventually will cut time out of a clinical trial, which means a patient will get their medicine sooner.
And what's the response you get?
It's when you lay out the value chain of how what you do matters, it's incredibly motivating. And it's an easy talk to do in healthcare. I've worked, for manufacturers. I've worked in ecosystem around them, but every bit of that is an ingredient that is getting, it could be life-saving medicine to the right patient at the right time, or educating physicians like what I do in Envision is being able to provide the clinical evidence of new inspiring medications that are going to be hitting the market soon. And how do you actually say that in a compliant, articulate way? And, so every part of that value chain and all the way back to the technologist, the engineers or the data folks, they all matter. They just don't realize how what they do translates over to a value creation later on. And sometimes you just have to paint the picture.
We hear a huge promise and possibility about AI accelerating healthcare cures for disease, for cancer, all these things. It seems like it hasn't really come fast enough for anyone on this front. What is your take on how fast can things accelerate with technology? Because there's the safety side of it. There's a reality of the world of what can be done. And I think you're in an interesting place to kind of see where everything's converging there.
Yeah, and I actually don't think we have a technology problem. We have a data problem.
A data problem.
Yes. Our healthcare system generates more data than any other sector in the world. Healthcare, if you think of big data, that definition called big data,
yes,
healthcare is the fastest growing segment of data generation right now. It's grown to, I think it's 32%. Now it's 38% of all global data. I actually believe we have the data to be able to solve many challenges. The question is the ability to access it. Right now, even today, we only access, I think, roughly about 22% of all available healthcare data in order to advance the treatment of a patient or the investigation of a product. We saw a glimpse of this, of what the future was going to be. And I'm going to take us back to COVID.
Yes.
Operation, what was it? Warp speed, they called it.
Operation Warp Speed. Yes.
So everyone came together, shared all the data that the world had. And all of a sudden, we had breakthroughs in light speed development of vaccines. Never seen in the history of our society. We saw what the future was going to be. The ability to commune all of that information along with science, technology. Yes, you can say, well, what about the safety profiles and everything that happened?
Yeah, privacy, safety, you have these things.
See, there's some things that still need to be worked out of how to do this. But is the ability to generate those vaccines in a year and a half versus traditionally you're looking at 12 to 16 years for current.
Yeah. And it was a novel. Like it was
novel.
There was no,
and it wasn't just one. There were several vaccines that came from us. So you saw what happened when science, technology, and data came together with a single polarized objective, which was we needed to find something to help humanity. And everyone forgot about how much money we make or things of that nature because we all came together. Companies worked together, technology, scientists, they all were polarized on a single direction. Now, fast forward, come to where we are today, a lot of companies are still working with academia to actually achieve this. And we do have some challenges to deal with privacy, security of that data. But I'm a believer that we have things within our grasp. And to our scientists that are out there that are still investigating, we've only scratched the surface of what personalized medicine is going to become, but we're discovering it through a tech and data enablement capability that we're moving faster than we've ever moved. It's not a technology problem. It's actually a data problem.
Because it's walled data and there's no easy way to connect the dots between the walled gardens
and the
data.
And the ability to share it with different institutions. Think about who does your blood tests, who does your x-rays, everybody has a piece. Needs to come together to create a mosaic of exactly what's going on. And yes, we have the capability to simulate clinical trials if we have the right information to do it.
So do you believe it's a leadership problem then?
I think it's a mixture. It has to do with capitalism. Companies make a lot of money doing the things that they do. That's a huge transformation because it is going to change the economic equation of how many companies make money. But I also think it'll invent different ways that we make money. That's the same problem that we're going through with AI right now. And the fact that everyone feels that AI is going to take away jobs. It's actually creating, I think, 1.5 times as many jobs as it's taking away right now.
People work more.
Correct.
Not less.
I heard, just the other day, they were talking about, the invention of the computer was going to bring humanity to its knees because of the fact that computers are going to replace all the workers. That didn't happen. It's not going to happen with AI. Is it a leadership issue? I think it's an adoption, but I also think it is going to take probably a level, not another COVID event. Let's not have that happen. But my point is that I think it will take some level of intervention to say that we're going to have a breakthrough in how we handle, security of data, the rights and privacy of people. But I do think it's achievable. These health systems are working in partnership with each other. We are seeing glimpses of this coming. And personally, I'm excited about it. But it is going to take, bold leadership, but it's not just medical leadership. It's several different types of leaders. It takes people that truly believe that it can be done. And by getting others breadcrumbing to come along that journey, amazing things can happen. And I think we'll see it.
You paint a very compelling vision.
Well, I have spent my entire almost life in healthcare, and my whole journey has been around data. And so I know the data exists, and I've been able to use some of that data to actually help companies make better decisions and being about the intelligence that it can generate. And there's a lot of that going on in our different companies that are out there today, either the manufacturers or the folks that are doing R&D. That flywheel is starting. And the nice thing, and getting back to one of your earlier discussions, is the intersection of business and technology coming together.
Just need more of that.
We do.
What's the worst leadership advice you've heard?
Oh my gosh. I remember you're never prepared for that first management job. And you get tapped and said, okay, you're going to be a manager. Great. And I remember getting tapped, and this senior manager pulled me aside and said, look, you were a successful salesperson and you are going to be an amazing sales manager now. You just need to teach them to do everything that you did. Oh my gosh. What a disaster. My team hated me. that first year, it's like I'm beating my head against a wall. They're not listening to me. We're not getting any traction. And it finally dawned on me. It's like my eureka moment. They're all individuals, meaning that I was the one that had to change. They didn't have to change who they were.
Right on.
I had to meet them where they were. And it's probably the best revelation that I ever had. And you said, well, that's a no-brainer. Well, they didn't teach that to young salespeople at that time, and they didn't teach it to young sales managers either. But the reality is, all of us, effective leadership is actually getting the best out of the people that are around you, making them into the best version of themselves. And ever since that day, I have felt and have been told my secret power is around highly effective teams.
Okay.
I'm not going to be the smartest person in the room, but I will tell you that everyone in that room, I'm working to make them the best version of themselves for the role that they have in what we do.
Glad you stopped listening to that advice.
So am I.
What's it been like working with Hexaware so far, you guys?
Hexaware is a really interesting company. I think that they bring a unique value proposition. They have a unique approach. And the thing that really resonates with me that I've heard from their customers is they are really motivated to show up and actually work really hard for their customer. And they bring technologies and capabilities to work smarter. But the thing that is resonating that I keep hearing about is that passion around being able to deliver a value to their customer. And you can go a long way with that when you have an aligned strategy, aligned direction, and the motivating factor that we want to be the best that we can be and do that for our customers. And it's interesting because all my engagements with Hexaware has been around, about they make you feel like you're their only customer. And that's a really powerful thing to be able to do of an organization of their size. And so Hexaware is a great company.
Darren, thank you for joining us on the show. It's been a fun one.
Absolutely, Ben.